Hello, this is Adam from Horizon Hobby, and here in front of me is the Arrma FIRETEAM. This is a newly released car. This is 1/7 scale. It comes with brushless and it is ready to run, but you will need either two 3Ss, a single 4S, or a single 6S LiPo, a LiPo charger, and 4 AA batteries for your radio. Let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed and see what it's all about. And here's the car. So what you get in the box is, of course, the vehicle itself, the SLT3 radio, which is great because it is DSMR, so it gives a right away with the receiver for you to move up to like a DX5C. Some Arrma decals. Some extra shock pistons, and there are some in here that are not drilled, so then you can go ahead and tune that to your liking. Some diff shims for you to use as needed after you run the vehicle a little while. A speed pinion gear, which is only for on-road use for a few passes. Some basic tools to get you up and going. And the instruction manual. Okay, so that is everything that is included here with the car. Now let's go ahead and get this out of the way here, and we can go ahead and talk about what is needed to actually complete this here. Like I said earlier, you will need either two 3S LiPo batteries, a single 4S with a loop connector, and for a charger, I'm a huge fan of the S2200. The nice thing about the G2 batteries, it does not have a balance lead, so it's just a single plug right there, and it does give you the option for telemetry if you move up to a different computerized radio. So I'm going to go ahead and move the radio out of the way here, and we're going to go ahead and take off the body to see the features inside. But before we do that, this body does feature a roll cage, some driver figures inside, and it is overall pretty strong. It's also got the little tethers here on the body clips. So as I remove these clips, they are held to the vehicle, which is really convenient. That way, if it happens to get unclipped while you're driving, more than likely your clip is not going to get lost. So you can keep reusing the same clips time and time again. Once we get this body off, you'll see the cage that I was talking about. That adds a lot of rigidity here, and it also keys into the chassis, which we'll show a little bit later. So let's go ahead and look at the chassis of the vehicle itself. This is a 1/7 scale vehicle, so it is substantially bigger than the likes of the other 6S Arrma cars. It does feature the Spectrum Former 150, which is capable from 3 to 6S LiPo. The 2050 kV motor, which is super reliable, and it's got a heatsink and cooling fan on here. For your steering servo, you got the Spectrum S652. And for the handbrake, which this model does feature, it's got a S650. The handbrake is on the rear diff pinion back here, and it's going to lock it up so then the car can enter and exit a drift a little bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and flip the car around over here. In your receiver box, you have a SR315, which is DSMR, so then you can use that with upgraded radios such as the DX5C, DX5 Pro, and the DX5 Rugged. For your battery tray here, it is rather large, so then you can go ahead and accommodate a different array of batteries. Like I said earlier, my personal preference is the Spectrum G2 5000 mAh 3S LiPo batteries. So what I was talking about earlier, with the body actually coming into the chassis, there's this little inlet right here that sits in with the body, and some grooves up here that it all meshes together to get a really tight feel once it's onto the vehicle. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the body back on, so then we can go ahead and get this car out and running. Now we are going to talk about safety with the Arrma FIRETEAM. Once you get your body removed here, keep in mind with these hobby radio controlled products that there might be some heat buildup within your model after running it, including the ESC, the motor, possibly even the batteries. So just keep that in mind whenever you're working on your vehicle, even turning it off after you're done running it. While you are running this model, please keep in mind that there are driveline components in this vehicle, as well as the tires that are spinning at a high rate of speed. So just keep your fingers and anything else out of the line for the driveline and the tire. It is also always a good idea to go ahead and remove your pinion gear on the end of the motor shaft whenever you're performing any calibration with your ESC. Lastly, with LiPo batteries, it is always a good idea to leave these somewhere near whenever you're charging them, just that way you can monitor them while they are being charged. It is always just a good safety precaution. Lastly, with your Arrma FIRETEAM, you want to make sure whenever you're running it, you're avoiding suburbs or parks with a lot of people and or objects that you can cause damage to. It is always the best case to go to like an open field where you can go ahead and experience this model to its fullest potential. So now let's go ahead and get the Arrma FIRETEAM up and going, and I'm going to show you how to do that. First off, we've got your battery tray here that is pretty adjustable. It's got a very nice adjustable plastic molded part here, and it's got hook and loop strap here, so then we can get a wide array of different batteries. For this video, I'm going to be showing off the two Spectrum 3Ss. Let's go ahead and get it in there, lift that up. It should be a pretty snug fit with the hook and loop strap. You can go ahead and put it through. Get that nice and tight, and then there's another one here that is going to have to come up around. The nice thing with this is it does have a balance lead holder, so if your packs do have a balance lead, you can go ahead and hook it in here, that way it's out of the way from any of the driveline. Once we get this other strap in, you want to make sure that you have it nice and snug. Once you have it nice and tight, those batteries are not going to be going anywhere. Next, you can go ahead and plug in the car, but we do not want to turn it on quite yet. These batteries do require IC5 or EC5 plugs. So this car uses the SLT3. For this, you can go ahead and turn it on. You want to make sure you turn your radio on first and then your car, and then whenever you're turning it off, you want to turn the car off first, followed by the radio. The nice thing about this radio is it does have a 50, 75, and 100% level. That way, if you're newer to the hobby or this is one of your first higher powered cars, you can start off at the 50% or the 75% level until you're ready to graduate up. Now, whenever you're turning on the car, it's always a good procedure just to pick it up to start with. Now, each of those chimes is going to represent one cell for the LiPo battery. So once everything is on, we can go ahead and do a basic systems check. And what I mean by that is at this point, you can check if you have steering. Your third channel is going to be your handbrake. And then you can go ahead and pick up the car, and give it a little bit of throttle input, and make sure that everything is A-OK there. Once we got the body on, you will need to go ahead and use those body clips like what we talked about earlier to go ahead and get your body on. Now with the body clips on, there's nothing else needed to get your Arrma FIRETEAM up and going and outside.